Okay, so we started this the other day, and we got to Ois Hey. Okay, the beer bechol zeh, wären verstandig, behektem, was in Lashon Rashi, Parshasenu, is da Ashina Ikri, the guy with them Lashon Sifri Mekir Pirush Rashi. Understand this by first prefacing a key difference between Rashi's wording in our Parsha and the wording in Sifri, which is the source of Rashi. In Sifri state, Shekomi Shesenes Yisrael Kilo Senes Mi Shamar Vayedam. Rashi Zok Shekal Senes Yisrael Senes Mi Shamar Vayedam on them Kilo. In the Sifri it says, whoever hates a Yidin, it is if he hates the Eibishter. Rashi says, whoever hates the Yidin hates Hashem. Rashi takes out the word Kilo. The saying is, what does this mean? Rashi learned as das was der Pasuk sagt, Misanecha, is nicht bleibt ähnlich in der Harbkeit von dem Chid von Einisch, als fight haben Yidin ist ähnlich zu fight haben dem Eibishter. Nor Misanecha meint Kipschutti. So man fight dem Eibishter. Weil es ist Heinuach, oder der was der Senes Yisrael, is their fathers are Senes Mishamar Vayedam. So what comes out from Rashi? Rashi says, in regard to Sid Vayhi ben Seah Ha'arin, Moshe Kuma Hashem v'yafutze vecha v'yanusu misanecha. So Rashi is learning that those who hate Hashem isn't just telling us about the severity of the sin and the punishment of the haters is equivalent. That of hating a Yid is comparable to hating Hashem. Instead, those who hate Hashem is literal. Those who hate the Yid and hate Hashem. Hatred for the Jewish people and hatred for Hashem is one and the same. So a person who's a hater of the Yidden hates them only because he is someone who hates the Eibishter. It's Vilashna Mechilta Shakom Shakom Connected Shok, you come connected Akash Baruch. Late Rashi is those Hainuach, Edom, Vason, Asidin Zan, the Lee School of Mikolam, Umni Beferi so, whatever is those by Zay A Zach, the Mitvos, Zizan, come connected, San Zebedach, really come out your soul, but for the neighbors, I'm schooler. So therefore, or Rashi says in regards to Taharis Kamecha, you devastate your enemy. So Rashi says, and who opposes him? Those who oppose the Yidden. As we know, this differs from Mechilta, because Mechilta says anyone who rises against Yidden is as if they oppose Hashem. This is because Rashi holds that the two basically are the same. The nations of the world realize that the Jewish people are a treasure to me amongst all the nations, and the Yidden are the firstborn. Therefore, in their eyes, it's one thing. By opposing him, they automatically oppose the Yidden, which is Hashem's treasured nation. Aber in dem Eifen und Teikif, Feindschaft Gufa ist der Achille zwischen Eivecha, Kamecha und Misanecha. My time can sich Rashi bei Minus Misanecha und verlassen auf sein Pirsch bei Taris Kamecha. Von dem, was man gefindet, als Elim sein Kamecha und Eivecha, der Pfarrer, was sie seine Kamal Yisrael, und Al-Amcha Yarim Nusayt, is noch kein Reihe, is noch nicht kein Reihe, als wir können sagen, dasselbe bei Misanecha. As their sinner to Yidden is about vice of their sinner to Mibishton. From saying that Likkutei is a Sach starker, Tifre, Feindschaft, the Oyev, und Kamecha, the past, the Chere, Klapping, Ma'al, So this we already said last time, that there's a difference with the intensity of the hatred between Oyevecha, your enemies, your opponents, and those who hate you, Misanecha. A Seina is like connotes a hatred with a much stronger and deeper than Oyev. And that's an emotion that seems inappropriate when talking about Hashem. So accordingly, to explain and let those who hate you, so Rashi cannot rely on what he said before that you devastate your opponent. Knowing that the nations of the world are your opponents, your enemies, because they oppose Yidden, does not mean the same would apply to those who hate you. That their hatred for the Jewish people is evident for their hatred of Hashem. Therefore, Rashi has to give a new pitch. And the Rebbe explains in Vav what that means. What's the difference between a oyev, an enemy, and a hater? Basement is medai lechal. When you're gonna be particular to differentiate them is as follows. Oyev meant as azav was by him is the sinne beiker in a ois erlichen. Kolel dicken eifen. Now, when you say somebody is an enemy, is someone whose hatred is primarily expressed outwardly, open, in practical action. Asine was is verbunden mit Asir bepeil, sich mit dem Zweiten, mit Feindschaft. His relationship with the other is hostile. And what does he do? He does an action to express his hatred. So that's oyev. The akengen seine is bigger sinne als mide belief. A seine, somebody who's a hater, it's an internal emotion. Was das is a tiefe sinne. It's a lot deeper hatred. They see that some zweiten is by him eingekraft in Herzen. Which means the person's hatred is in the heart of the it's very like carved and very deep. Mir is nicht nur was behandelt im schlecht, wenn hat die Möglichkeit dazu. So not only does he try to act bad to the person when he can, nor liegt in dem und sucht noch an Eizes wie zu Anton Rishus zum Zweiten. He is constantly searching, how can I inflict harm on this person? There was halt a Sinne mit Will Shoshem und Sucht noch anan dem Zweiten Zera wird angerufen Senele. The Pasuk says he did not hate him from yesterday or before, because someone who does hate him is someone who has hated him from yesterday or before yesterday. So he's constantly looking ways to injure his this person. So that's the difference between an oyev and a seina. An oyev is a person who he hates the person, and he expresses this hate openly, outwardly, and in practical actions. A seina is someone who it's internal emotion. It's a very deep seated hatred. The person's hatred is in the person's heart. Therefore, not only does he treat his enemy poorly when the opportunity comes, but his hatred is so engulfed that he's constantly searching for new avenues to inflict more harm on him. Was das ist euch der Tam, per was in der Teichofa von Pashto Chugese nus die Tere die zwei Leschenes und negoftem lefnei Wechem uredu bachem Senechem. Was wie Rashi bringt der Tarab und negoftem lefnei Wechem mit Bali Vavachon Makifen Esel Machutz und uredu bachem Senechem mit as die was mechapsen acher ham matmoni shelachem. And this you see also by the Teichachas, it says in regards to you will be like struck or hit by war before your enemies. Those who hate you will subjugate you. Rashi says there, what does it mean? You will be struck before your enemies. First to the enemies who surround you from the outside. And when it says those who hate you will be subjugated, it refers to those who search for your hidden treasures. As oyev welche an oyev welche is nit asene by him is blaze asine gloye. This meglich as the sine is oyev sich zu verheten. As the zweite soll ihm nit kennen schändigen. Und der Lieber bagnugen der sich mit Makifen Esel Machutz. So possibly an enemy whose hatred is not, it's not so, it's just a sina gluya, so he only possesses an outward hatred, and is motivated and limited to his efforts to protect himself so that he shouldn't be harmed by the other. So therefore, he is satisfied with surrounding you from the outside. Shegan Asena was by him is Asina Kvusha Belev. Is oisen jenem zu redesign und far tilikin. Und der Fahr sein die Szene nicht nur wakifen ist bechutz nur mechapsen achamat manisha dachem. When it comes to a Szene, a hater, Someone whose hatred is lodged in his heart sets out to pursue and destroy the other. Therefore, the hater is not only surrounding you from the outside, but also search for your hidden treasures. Zayin. Al Pizeh, wird man echt verstehen, der Maschine erloschen in Pizdash in unser Posse, wie Futze Wecha, Muchonosse, wie Nussum Zanecha, Edo Reitze. Now we can understand why Rashi uses different explanations when we say in our parsha we say v'yafutzu oyevecha, let your enemies be scattered, those who are like mobilized, those who are stationed. And this misanecha means these are the rightful, these are the pursuers. Das was v'yafutzu manasecha, das was v'yafutzu oyevecha. Meita mechunosim is nit verbunden mit dem teir oyevecha. Now, when we use the expression "let your enemies be scattered," and we say it refers to the people that are mechunasim, mobilized, has no bearing on the definition of your enemies. There's different ways how an enemy could act in a war or carry out their plan. Amol is Parzeh Besser, Aziz and Mechunasim, und Amol leunt sich mit Tachsisi Mechama, Aziz on sich zu teilen, was under the machnes. There are many ways that an enemy could act during war. At times, it's more advantage to be in a single spot, and at times, it's more strategic to break up into different camps. Von dem, was der Pasuk sagt, wie Futzel, weiß man, als das der sich wegen der Sache eben bei seinem Mechunasim. Therefore, Rashi cannot say that that let your enemies be scattered. These are the ones that are stationed, which would imply that enemies means those that are stationed. Rather, Rashi says, "Let your enemies be scattered." Mechunasim, since the pasuk uses the word or the verb "be scattered," we know that we are speaking about enemies who are mechunasim. When it comes to, we say, Rashi says, these are the ones, these are the pursuers. Araytfim is nit nor the hepech from Venus, nor das is the inhal teich from Misanecha il araytfim. Azelchu was haben a sinne beleven when their fathers and they read the feeden, so jagen sich gesehen zu tun statt zu ihnen. And so therefore Rashi says, Misanecha means those who harbor an inward hatred. Accordingly, this heartful hatred propels them to pursue Yidden, constantly try to figure out strategies to harm the Yidden. Okay, so now in Ches, the Hamshur some page we use Misanecha laret, from as Misanecha zan die was haben as sinne kosher believed to Yidden, and Mela zan ze redif noch. So now that we established that we're talking about two different types of enemies, and we said means those who pursue, that they have a harbor and they have this embedded hatred in their hearts that compels them to pursue the Jewish people. So now Rashi is the question. How can we say those who hate you refers to the people who hate Hashem? That a person of flesh and blood can have an embedded hatred towards Hashem in a manner of pursuing. This is blaze was made Hashem is verstandig. Azevi im füllt sich Ton Azach, was es happened was Hashem, und kennt sich oder will sich nicht einhalten, is murdered by Hashem, or to type of Jenny, business can verify run on an evil as a tool with the kavana to the hachas neged in Hashem. Now, Mela, when it comes to your enemy, so it's understandable. We're talking about a person who's an enemy and a revealed hatred with practical conduct, and even more, your Rivach refers to those who take actions against Hashem, since this person wants to act in a way that is contrary to Hashem's will, and he cannot control himself, so he rebels against Hashem, and acts contrary to the will, and he does this with a kavanah to lahafis the mitzvah Hashem. Aber we can gemold sein as ze soll sein misanecha as zelf was haben klappet dem Ebersten as sinne believe was the sifeis in a ständige Tnuah von der Diva. However, how can it be that they would become those who hate misanecha, people who have a hatred in their hearts towards Hashem that expresses itself in a constant state of pursuit? Therefore, Rashi says those who spoke and brought the world into being. So Madgazan, if Wiffel says nit masem as Embisher soll haben, as Sinne klappet dem Eberstern, warum is doch Misham Vayedam? Wie kann einer haben as Sinne Kusche believe, gegen them was euch ergleit as hat him beschaffen and kriegt him sein Chais. How could it be that somebody who knows that Hashem is giving him the Chais is going against him? Noch mehr wie bald Retzel wegen Misham Vayedam, wie is Bechal Shayach as a Basrudum soll ken readers in the Eberstern. If we're talking about somebody like the Eberster, who created the world, and he said, and the world is, so how's it possible that somebody's raised of Hashem? Then for Rashi adds, Misanecha elu Sini Yisrael. Mit Misanecha b'cholokim v'ert gemeint Sini Yisrael. This says, Asini kusha believe to Misha Amar Vayadam is talking to Shayach. Aber Diva is on Sini Yisrael. So you're right. If it's just a Sini Mokim, it's not Shayach. But the Chiddush is that somebody hates the Yidden. Diva is about Asini kusha to Yidden. Somebody has inner hatred to Yidden. Allah is midu she'esav sen liyakiv. So what the Chiddush is that somebody who hates the Yidden, he has an inborn hate for the Yidden, automatically he hates Hashem. And if that, was Rashi bringing our daya from Pasuk Shanam L'sanecha Nasurish Mi Heim Alam Chayarim Yusaid, therefore Zetman as Ver Zan L'sanecha Mi Heim Tibus Alam Chayarim Yusaid. Therefore Rashi brings this Pasuk to tell us that it tells us that those who hate you is they who conspire secretly against your nation. Okay, we'll continue. We'll finish this tomorrow.
Thank you.
Good.